West #1 independent computer repair company with service centers in Lincoln, Omaha, Papillion, Des Moines, and across the country via the Schrock desk. This is Compute This.
Good morning, folks, and welcome into Compute This. My name is Thor Schrock. I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company. 4 service centers to help you out, and boy, has there been a lot of help to do this week. In the original service center in Lincoln, just south of 14th and Pine Lake Road, 7501 South 15th Street. Then Omaha, 168th and Burke, just across the street from the Village Point Mall, where we just re-signed our new lease. 5 more years in the same spot, so yay for us. Our neighbor Fat Brain Toys was acquired by Tommy Toys. They're going to be so huge now. It's going to be amazing. They had such great products to begin with, but if you haven't checked out Fat Brain Toys right next door to Schrock Innovations over there at across the street from Village Point, amazing place to look for Christmas gifts. Anyway, I digress. I saw that in the news yesterday, and I was like, so good for them. That's awesome. All right, then we opened the Papillion Service Center just off of 84th and Highway 370 in Midlands Place in Papillion. Busy location there, growing great in that business park. And then, of course, the newest location we've added is in West Des Moines, Iowa. We're at 9500 University Avenue, and that location has just been amazing. The people are just awesome. We had a great ribbon cutting. Just an awesome time over there. And the Des Moines Service Center probably had the best, or I shouldn't say the best, but the easiest week of any of the service centers, because you see, they just opened. So you can count the number of Endpoint subscribers they had on, like, if you take your shoes off, you can count that. They just opened, right? So we're migrating everyone over from Symantec Endpoint to the new Sophos Endpoint. And I know there are some of you who are not migrated yet. We've migrated about 2/3 of our customer base. And so we need to get everybody migrated ideally here before the end of the month. So if you have not migrated yet, let us know and we'll help you out with that. With that said, I will say that Sunday is a short day. We're only open for 5 hours. So if you're going to call, Saturday through Friday, which sounds weird to say, because you can't say Friday through Saturday, but Saturday, every day of the week, but Sunday, we're open from 10 in the morning until 8 in the evening, but Sunday is noon to 5. We want to make sure our employees have a chance to get to church if they want to get to church, and then actually get off a little early so they have some time to spend with their families. It's Sunday. So we're open because some people, the life just, you got to pick up your computers, and computer problems, you can choose not to have a chicken sandwich on Sunday. You can't choose not to have a computer problem on Sunday. So we're there to help. So we are staffed a little bit lighter on Sundays than other days of the week. So if you're going to call in today and try to get your endpoint migrated, we will help you. But when the migration hit for endpoint, it was really bad timing. Because we had this planned for a while, that we were going to start the migration. We were making tools to help it go easier for you. Some of the tools worked better than others because of security concerns. Apparently, when you start screwing around with antivirus software, security companies kind of freak out a little bit. Anything you try to do automated, they kind of freak out a little bit. And we migrated about, a third of our endpoint customers silently through Secure Update. They didn't even know they were migrated, and they called us and said, hey, I've got to do this migration. What do I do? Well, let's check first to see if you've been migrated already, because you have Secure Updater, and sure enough, they had been. So it was pretty cool. But the long and the short of it was, we can control when the Symantec migration happens. We can't control when Microsoft releases 2.0H2. And guess what they did on the same day? Oh, gosh. It was bad. So remember when I said, guys, that just in case something goes sideways with 2.0H2, we limited the number of licenses that we had available that we sold. Normally, we sell 1,000 licenses. We limited that to about 500 licenses this time, just to make sure if something goes sideways that we have enough staff to deliver award-winning service at all times. So if we wouldn't have done that, it would have been, it was impossible as it was to keep up. Those of you who called and left voicemails, we're still returning voicemails. A lot of you chose to use the chat option on the website. Let me give you an idea of what our day looked like. I was in the service centers. Actually, there were no phones available because everybody had a headset on and everybody was on the phone. So people who couldn't get through on the phone lines were resorting to the chat. And the chat pops up on cell phones of key employees. So our front desk people, my cell phone, Parker's cell phone. The part-time guys, that doesn't pop up on their phone because we can't control, like it pops up on your phone whether you're working or not. And so, and we don't want them to turn off the notifications because then they forget to turn them back on and then no one gets answered. So literally, I had 4 Schrock Desk sessions going and I was bouncing through Messenger on my phone. So I didn't have a headset to use, but I was literally dictating to my phone with voice chat to try to keep up because my thumbs weren't fast enough. We're going to talk a little bit in the show today about Google and the antitrust stuff and everything that's going on there. But if you heard my appearance this week with Chris Baker on 1110 KFAB, I mean, there are alternatives to Google stuff out there, but some things Google is just the best at, and voice chat is one of them. The Samsung voice chat app, they updated it and it's garbage now, so I switched over to the Google Voice keyboard app, full well knowing that by the time I'm done using it, Google will be able to create an Android Thor that has my memories or something. It's going to be stupid how much they're going to know about me just because when you talk to your phone, it listens. And it's funny because you're done talking, right? And you hit send, and then your wife asks you a question because all weekend long, guys, like, Friday is the only day of the week I take off. And it's because my wife says, if you like being married, you're going to take Fridays off. One day is my day. She even gave up her day on Friday. We were doing some home improvement stuff and literally I'm like cutting wood and then saying, thank you for your message, and then she'd come over and say something to me and Google Voice would keep listening. And then it would start typing what she was saying. And I was like, oh, good thing I didn't click send there. It's like, and also make sure that you get a sippy cup for the baby, It's like, what? And then, customers might think that's a little of a weird thing to say in a computer support chat. So to bring you guys up to speed on everything that happened this week, first of all, Microsoft did release 2.0H2. There are issues with 2.0H2 as expected. There are blue screen issues that prevent your computer from rebooting, and there are several of them. They're based on what types of hardware you have, so it's not like you can just say, oh, I don't want that program, or if you like sound on your computer, kind of essential for a Zoom meeting, 2.0H2 can blow up your computer. If you like internet on your computer, something kind of you need for a Zoom meeting, 2.0H2 can blow up your computer. So here we are, Pandemic Prime, and everybody's Zooming, everybody's Skyping. They even added a new button in 2.0H2 to try to make Skype easier to use, like Meet Now. There's a Meet Now button for Skype. Nobody uses Skype. It's too difficult to get everyone connected on it. So anyway, all these things are happening. Microsoft is acknowledging they want a piece of that Zoom pie. And then after all of the testing and all the insistence that this is a minor feature update for 2.0.04, that nothing is going to go wrong, everything is going to be rosy and sunshine. I was a dissenting voice on the show. I said, hey, they're screwing with just about everything that's broken before. Watch this. It's not going to be great. It's not doom and gloom, but it was serious enough that we reduced the number of software licenses that we sold. You multiply 500 times $54.99. That's how much revenue we gave up because we thought things were going to go south. And so for many customers, everything went great. We probably had one of the smoothest rollouts of Safe Upgrade we've ever had. Customers were able to get the Safe Upgrade product installed on their computers. Many people, it went off without a hitch. Most of that is because people have generally faster internet connections now. Some of our customers are still on some slower connections, but they're generally on faster connections because everybody upgraded because of Zoom. And imagine that when you have a higher quality internet connection, things work better. So anyway, we went through and we're doing Safe Upgrade, we're getting that done, and then the endpoint situation happens. Now, if you haven't been following the program on what's going on with Endpoint, Symantec Endpoint sold their security division, their corporate security product, Endpoint, to a company called Broadcom. Broadcom is best known for making wireless chipsets and communication chipsets. They also have a wide variety of cloud services that they've offered, and they needed a security component to add to their portfolio, so they purchased Symantec Endpoint. The problem was Endpoint had become the engine for all of Norton's products, including Norton Security, Norton Internet Security, all of those. And so when they sold that technology to Broadcom, they couldn't keep using it for the consumer customers at home. So they resurrected Norton 360, partnered with LifeLock and branded it Norton LifeLock, and are selling antivirus software from 2015 as the end-all be-all great thing, trading off the Norton name, which has a lot of brand equity. The software is not great. The software does not do well with ransomware, which is one of the biggest threats hitting everybody right now. We had a story last week about it. So all things said, guys, we needed to get you off of Endpoint because Broadcom has not communicated with us. We still don't have the ability to add clients in the Broadcom portal. We still don't know how much we're going to be paying per client. We still don't know what the process is to migrate our clients because Symantec service ends in early November. Now, I pushed out a deadline of November 1st to kind of light a fire under everybody. We have a little bit of time after the deadline. So if you can't get it done by the 1st, don't freak out. But if you can't get it done by the 7th, then you're going to start to, we're going to need to light your hair on fire a little bit. So the long and the short of it is the Symantec Endpoint product is going away. And we needed to find something that was at least as good, right? I mean, it's been serving our customers brilliantly for years. So we had to find something that was at least as good. So Brian from the Omaha Service Center headed up the search. I had a technician head up the search rather than me, the marketing guy, heading up the search because he is going to evaluate the software and test it side by side with Endpoint to see what's best. He came back and said, Thor, the Sophos stuff is amazing. Like, even if the thing with Endpoint wasn't happening right now, I would recommend we move to Sophos. I'm like, why is that? He said, look at the ransomware protection. It doesn't need file definitions. It just detects ransomware activity and then stops it. And then depending on your subscription level, it could even reverse the damage. What? So we look into it, and sure enough, it's amazing. And they have protection for everything. They've got Mac, they've got Android, they've got iPhone, they've got PC. They even have Linux, which is something that Endpoint didn't have. Not that we have a ton of Linux customers, but you guys are out there. So we could do this on all these different platforms now. Setting it up on your phone with Endpoint, if you went through that, was never fun. It was supposed to only take 2 or 3 minutes. It always ends up taking 15 minutes. Sophos is beautiful. You install an app, you scan a QR code. Done. It's beautiful. It's done the way it's supposed to be done. Yes, it costs double what Endpoint costs for us. That's not fun, but we're not passing that on to you. So we're not raising the installation price of Symantec Endpoint. It's still going to be the $160 for the initial install and $69.99 for a renewal every year. So anyway, that's what's going on right now. So if you look down in the lower right-hand corner of your computer, I'm going to try to head off some of the calls today. So bear with me really quickly while I do this quick security check. When you're at your computer today, look in the lower right-hand corner of your screen. Next to your clock, just to the left, there are icons there. I know this by heart because I've said it 5,000 times to my phone this week. My phone's going to think I'm an antivirus support center. So look in the lower right-hand corner by your clock. Just to the left, there are the icons in the system tray. Sometimes you have to click on that little caret symbol over on the left to expand the icons so you can see all the hidden ones. But the Sophos icon looks like a blue pencil tip. So think a square with a triangle on the bottom pointing down. So it's a pencil, like a pencil tip. And it has a white letter S in the middle. So it's a blue pencil tip with a white letter S in the middle. That's what you're looking for. Once you have that on your computer, then your Symantec Endpoint is going to start to go bye-bye. If you want to uninstall your Endpoint, once you have confirmed that you have Sophos, that's the reason we didn't just auto uninstall it. We wanted Sophos to run for a day so it can get updated and make sure that it's actually protecting your computer before we send the uninstall command for Endpoint. When we send that uninstall command, it's going to send a lot of nasty messages up in your face. Your services have been terminated. Your antivirus is expired. Oh no, what are we going to do? You're not protected. But you have Sophos, so you are protected. So both things are true. You're protected, and you have antivirus that's first we have to stop your services, which means you're expired. Then we have to remove it from your computer. It takes about 72 hours for all that to process because Symantec is really, really slow. Now, with all that said, if you want to uninstall Symantec yourself after you've confirmed that Sophos is on the computer, you can do so. It doesn't hurt anything, and it'll save you those nasty messages. So how do you get Sophos? Number one, if you have Secure Updater, it's very likely that you have already been automatically migrated to Sophos. If you do not have Secure Updater, please know that you can go to secureupdater.com and get a free 15-day trial from Schrock. So secureupdater.com gets you a free 15-day trial, no credit card required, nothing like that. That gets you the migration tool. That silently migrates you, by far the easiest way to do it. Option 2 is we have a migration tool on our website. You can go to SchrockInnovations.com. You can click on the black box just underneath the rotator that says, Symantec Endpoint is now Sophos Intercept X. And you can click on that, and there's a migration tool on that page. Now, when you download this tool, there's a few important things you need to know. You're depending on what browser you're running, it may ask you to keep the software or delete the software because it's an executable file from the internet, which is usually how viruses spread. and your browser's trying to keep you safe. So you have to say keep. The next thing is when you run the software, Windows is going to say, this is an executable file downloaded from the internet. That's usually how viruses spread. This file may harm your computer. And you have to click on more info and run anyway. Now, in the meantime, while we are going through all this, Logan, who made the tools in our Des Moines Service Center, is actually getting the tools security certificate, getting them signed by a security agency. The problem is the security agency takes 3 to 5 days to get the signature to you. And that means we can't secure the program. Once we secure the program, all these warnings go away. But in the meantime, it's safe to run and you can run it on your computer. So that's what's been going on. I apologize if our service levels have been impacted in advance. Literally, it's been all hands on deck, including me. And then on top of that, we had one employee call in sick, and we had one new guy no call, no show. So yeah, fun times. I mean, the joys of being a business owner, right? 888-250-2091 is the number to join us on the program today. If you give us a call and ask a question or make a comment, we'll put you in the drawing for a $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate. Now, last week on the program, we told you all about the Windows 10 update that just dropped. We told you it was going to have problems, and it has. We're going to detail those on the show for you today. We told you about some separate emergency Windows 10 patches that you wanted to make sure you had and make sure you restart your computer to get, and that they weren't the update. Also, ransomware hit Barnes & Noble. So we told you about all those stories. Coming up on the program today, guys, we have a really cool show for you today. PayPal is offering Bitcoin. PayPal. You will be able to pay for goods and services through PayPal using Bitcoin. I know like 4 of you in the audience have Bitcoin today, but you're going to wish you had some Bitcoin if you don't. Apple is releasing, or has released, version 14.1 of iOS for your iPhone and tablets and your iPads. Do you want to get it? We're going to let you know what's going on there. Also, this Google antitrust thing is going on. Are there actually competitors to Google search out there that are any good? We're going to do a point-by-point check and see if there's any options you have out there for competition for Google if you want to get away from the monopolistic companies. All right, 888-250-2091. Welcome to everybody watching live on Facebook.com/Schrock Innovations. Love to have you there. Alan, Nan, Roger, Richard, good morning. Those are the 4 that I see on my screen right now. There are more, but we'll check on that in a second. We're going to take a quick break here, guys, but when we come back, PayPal purchases using Bitcoin. Now, that may seem like a nothing burger story because you're like, I don't have Bitcoin. But this is a monumental shift in monetary payments, and you need to know what's going on. Even if you don't have Bitcoin, know what's going on so that when somebody asks you to Venmo you money or something, you know what they're saying, right? Or what was it? Cash App me the money, Dad. Is Cash App a thing? You know, when people say that, then you'll know what to do. And we're going to tell you all about it coming up next on Compute This.
Schrock Innovations Data Recovery Lab saves the data the other guys can't. The next time your hard drive, camera card, or flash drive fails, let Schrock get your data back. Some people like desktops for their power and upgradability, but nothing rivals a laptop for computing on the go. But why should you have to sacrifice performance for portability? The innovators at Schrock want our customers to have it all, so we created a new kind of laptop, the solid-state laptop from Schrock Innovations. Solid-state laptops are built using the same frame and mainboards as regular laptops, but we've removed half of the moving parts while more than doubling the computer's speed. The result? Laptops that boot to Windows in 6 seconds or less, respond instantly to your commands, and can survive drops that put most laptops into the Data Recovery Lab. Starting at only $499, solid-state laptops give you speed, reliability, durability, and performance for the same price most people pay for a cheap disposable laptop. The next time you're looking for a laptop, check out the solid-state laptops at SchrockInnovations.com or visit any of our service centers. Simple, solid, fast technology is what we do at Schrock. Compute This Pro Tip 299. There are enough mothballed computers in U.S. homes to give one to every man, woman, and child in the country. Many of these computers find their way into landfills where they can leak cadmium, lithium, and other nasty chemicals into the groundwater. Schrock Innovations is very proud of the fact that we recycle more e-waste every year than we create. You can drop off any old or broken computer equipment to our service centers at any time, free of cost. We only charge $15 just for monitors because they are especially difficult to process. No appointment is required, and we accept all computer-related equipment like printers, keyboards, speakers, and accessories. Additionally, the rare earth elements in computers can be recycled right here in the U.S. to reduce our reliance on supplies from foreign countries. Take a moment, drop off your old computer equipment today, and Schrock will make sure it's properly recycled and put to good use right here in the U.S. This pro tip brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
Alrighty, folks. Oh, if you could only hear the conversations that happen here off the air, it's pretty. We're gonna have a lip reader on Facebook doing a body language analysis. Did you not know what Cash App was? Apparently, lots of people don't know what Cash App is. You know, Cash App me the money, Dad. You know, got a bunch of business associates not paying my bills. All right. For those of you who are in the know, you know what I'm talking about. 888-250-2091. That's the number to join us on the program today. Give us a call, ask a question, make a comment. There is no such thing as a silly question, guys. We're all here to learn. We're all here to be entertained a little bit, but we're here to learn, and we're here to get better with our technology and make sure that our technology is working for us. And we can help you do that. And if you have a question like, what's Cash App? I guarantee you that there are tons of people listening, fathers and sons alike, that have no idea what Cash App is or what Bitcoin is or how it works. All right, so couple things to go on first here. The issues with the 2.0H2 update. There are two different driver situations that are problems. The first is the Connexent audio drivers. These are used in a lot of HP computers. HP has used these chipsets for a long time. Lots of HP computers are having blue screen issues, and it's not just HP. Other places use this Connexent audio chipset driver as well. But it's causing a bad enough blue screen that Microsoft is putting out a block on those computers from receiving the update because it's going to cause a blue screen. And the manufacturer of the drivers has not created a new driver yet. They're working on it. It'll be out soon. They just found out about this the other day. This was a bug that did not come up in testing because apparently nobody, no serious computer users have HP computers apparently. Which leads me to the next question. It looks like most testers also test on desktop computers because the Synaptics touchpad drivers apparently cause it to blue screen. So if you need a mouse or an audio driver to use your computer, you probably don't want to install this without Safe Upgrade. Just saying. 888-250-2091. As customers complete their Safe Upgrade installations, we are making those licenses available over at SchrockInnovations.com again so that other customers can come in and grab them, because we just wanted to control the number of individuals coming through at one time so we didn't get overwhelmed. So basically, if you go over to SchrockInnovations.com, and up in the top left corner, you can just hover over Shop there and go down to Specials, and it'll be there in the Specials page for you. It is the Safe Upgrade for the October update. It runs $54.99. It's a lot cheaper. It's $30 cheaper to do it yourself with Safe Upgrade than it is to bring it in and do it on the bench in the shop, but we will do it in the bench. On the bench in the shop for you. God, it sounded like a Clue game there. On the bench with a USB flash drive on a Thursday. But we have 31 in stock right now. So that number, you're going to start to see it slowly going up as people use their licenses and we've completed their migrations. We're making those licenses available again. So we were zeroed basically, and then now we're going back up. So you'll see that there as well. 888-250-2091 is the number to join us on the program. We can ask a question or make a comment. But one of the big things going on this week, if you pay attention to cryptocurrencies at all, why am I bringing this up, first of all? Okay. I'm not going to bore you with how Bitcoin works or how you buy it or how you sell it or any garbage like that, okay? All I want you to understand about Bitcoin is if I'm buying, for example, we buy a lot of our data recovery tools from Europe and, ironically, Russia. So when we purchase those tools, oftentimes we have to purchase them in euros. And so when you go to PayPal and you want to send 1,500 euros to somebody to purchase a set of head tools so you can disassemble hard drives properly and safely and get people's data back, that's why data recovery is so expensive, by the way, guys. The tools are ridiculous. This thing is it's a piece of metal. And it's 1,500 euros, which is like $1,700 US for a tool And you have to have a tool for each family of hard drives, and there's like 400 families. It's ridiculous. So anyway, when you're buying this tool, we need to buy it in euros because that's their currency that they're accepting, but we only have dollars to pay. I don't have euros sitting in my PayPal account. So what I can do is when you go to PayPal, it automatically changes the money from US dollars to euros. So I pay with 1,700 US dollars, and they receive 1,500 euros, and everyone is happy with the transaction. PayPal is going to do the same thing with Bitcoin now. So now you'll be able to, if you have Bitcoin or Ethereum or Litecoin or any of those eventually, you'll be able to save it in your PayPal wallet, just like your money, just like you would do with any other PayPal money. And then you will be able to send and receive your Bitcoin as if it was US dollars. It is a mind-bogglingly huge acceptance as a Bitcoin as a currency. This is huge, and it's going to change everything because PayPal realizes that in the next 20 years, if they don't do something with cryptocurrencies, even the government is going to US dollars that are digital. Everybody's going to a cryptocurrency now. That's what a digital dollar is. That's what a digital euro is. That's what the digital yuan is a cryptocurrency. And PayPal, if they don't get in on the cryptocurrency game, they got a 20-year expiration date on their head. So they're getting into it, and that caused the price of Bitcoin to jump over $1,000 per coin overnight because now everybody, JP Morgan is saying Bitcoin is the real deal. In 2017, JP Morgan said Bitcoin was a scam. Now Bitcoin is the real deal. It's digital gold is what they called it. Basically it's the same thing as you buy gold to secure a portfolio or you buy gold ETF futures. Bitcoin is pretty much the same thing, except you can move it across borders without renting a truck. Except you can move it out of countries that have capital controls. It's just that Venezuela had the petro. They abandoned it. Everybody wants Bitcoin because no one trusts the local currency. So if you're in a place where you feel that local currencies or fiat currencies are going to be problematic, Bitcoin is your answer. Now Bitcoin is going mainstream. I don't know if that means that everybody thinks that normal currencies are going to be problematic, but if you don't have some Bitcoin and you have the opportunity to get some Bitcoin, get some Bitcoin. If you're a grandma and a grandpa, you used to give a silver dollar to your kids at Christmas, give them a little Bitcoin at Christmas. Give them a Bitcoin wallet. Kids will just look at you the same way they look at you when you give them a silver dollar. I told my wife I wanted to do that with the holiday specials. I have a commemorative coin made with it, and she said, that's such an old man thing to do, Thor. Don't do that. 888-250-2091. Got to take our bottom of the hour break. Everybody get your popcorn, get your restroom break in, refill the coffee. We'll be back in just a couple minutes for more Compute This.
Schrock Innovations repair technicians also make house calls. Make an appointment and let us bring our award-winning computer support right to your home or business. In 1798, Eli Whitney's Connecticut Musket Factory was the first business in North America to use replaceable parts in a firearm. Before Eli's factory, if your musket broke, you had to send it away to an expert gunsmith for repairs, or just toss it and buy a new musket. Technology manufacturing has come a long way since the 18th century, but you wouldn't know it by looking at today's big box store computers. Dell, HP, Sony, and other manufacturers continue to take away your freedom to upgrade and repair your computer by eliminating expansion and repair options. Some desktops are even powered by a tiny laptop adapter. Schrock Innovations believes in Eli Whitney's idea of interchangeable and replaceable components, and that's why our custom-built modular computers last longer and cost less to repair than computers you see at big box stores. Ask your friends and family how often they replace their box store computers, and they'll probably tell you every couple of years. And what do they do with the old machines? They just get thrown out like broken muskets. Imagine a place where your computer's problems can be fixed quickly and inexpensively. Imagine keeping your computer for 6 years or more. You are imagining the kind of computers we build every day at Schrock Innovations. Our modular systems last longer, perform faster, and cost less over the long term than anything you can buy at a big box store. While the talented technicians at Schrock Innovations can't make you a musket even if they tried, our commitment to the freedom offered by modular computers is the modern-day extension of Eli's innovative musket factory. We think Eli Whitney would be proud, and you can take pride in owning a small piece of American innovation, the modular computer from Schrock Innovations. Compute This Pro Tip 843. Of all computer failures, the scariest and most expensive is the hard drive. But there are some steps you can take to save money and save your data before it's too late. Detecting failures early is important, so install a free utility like Drive Advisor from driveadvisor.com to monitor your hard drive's health and receive warnings when there's a problem. But most of all, hard drive failures happen slowly, so early detection is key to reducing the repair bill. Second, if your hard drive makes any unusual noises, immediately turn off your computer and do not turn it on again. These issues are physical problems, and the more you try to use it, the worse the damage becomes. Remember that most computer repair shops do not have the specialized equipment needed to recover data from a failed drive. Never open your drive or allow anyone else to do so. Opened drives always cost more to recover. Schrock does not charge for data recovery evaluations and quotes, so let the local pros look at your drive before you make any recovery decisions. This pro tip brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
Fox News, I'm Steve Rappaport. The verdict on a vaccine coming soon. Dr. Anthony Fauci tells the BBC it should be clear whether a COVID-19 vaccine is safe and effective by the end of November or early December.
Much of the nation is experiencing an increase in coronavirus cases. Health officials fear this will only get worse as cooler temperatures force people inside, making it easier for the virus to spread. Cases in the U.S. now surpassing 8.5 million, with nearly 225,000 deaths.
Fox's Anita Vogel. Tropical storm Zeta forming off the coast of Cuba.
We're going to see possibly another hurricane as we're still moving through hurricane season, even though we're getting closer and closer to some winter-like temperatures across the middle of the country. This is going to run up into the Gulf of Mexico. The water's still warm, climbing up to a Category 1 hurricane.
Fox News meteorologist Adam Klotz. America is listening to Fox News.
Now, the News Radio 1110 KFAB Weather Watch.
Winter weather advisory in effect for most of us today. Temperatures staying in the 30s as snow spreads from north to south. We could see a light mix at first for areas south of I-80. Off and on snow showers, especially this evening and tonight, will give us about 2 to 3 inches in the Omaha metro. 29 degrees, the high on Monday. With Omaha's most accurate forecast, I'm 6 News First Alert meteorologist Mallory Schnell on News Radio 1110 KFAB.
Alrighty, folks, welcome back into Compute This. My name's Thor Schrock. I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company. We've talked about a lot this morning. It feels like the first half hour of the show was an entire show in itself, and I feel like I'm talking a mile a minute, and I am physically forcing myself to slow down. I don't know where this energy is coming from. I slept like garbage last night. I don't know if you can see the bags under my eyes here. Just nuts. But man, I'm on fire today. I'm excited to be here, and I'm glad that you're here with us as well. If you want to join us on the program today, 888-250-2091. We have coming up on the program, Apple has released their new iOS version 14.1. This is the first major update to the 14.0 disaster, which is widely regarded as Apple's worst ever operating system release for the iPhone and the iPad. Yeah, it's bad, and you want to get 14.1. We're going to tell you about that. Also, alternatives to Google. You know, we talked a little bit last week about DuckDuckGo, or you can type in duckduckgo.com. They also just Google somehow transferred Google owned the URL duck.com, and Google transferred that URL to DuckDuckGo. So you can just go to duck.com and you get DuckDuckGo. Are they owned by Google? I don't know. So anyway, we're going to talk about that on the program, let you know what's going on there, and if there actually are a viable alternative to Google. Could you get away from the Google? Because let's face it, Google is good at what they do. Are they a monopoly? Heck yeah, they are. But they're good at what they do, and that's why people use their products. That's why people use Gmail, because it's really easy, good email. And it's pre-installed on every device you could possibly get, right? I think it's pre-installed on my smart TV. It's like everything. And boy, I already told you about voice text. Amazing there. You know, you can get a free phone number from Google Voice, like a temporary phone number. You just go to Google Voice and you get a free phone number. And then you can use that for your online dating profile. And then if the guy gets creepy on you, you can just walk away from the phone number. Just cancel it and get a new number. Yeah, I mean, there's Google is good. They know what they're doing, right? They don't have a cash transfer thing, which is kind of surprising to me that they don't have something like Cash App. Just Cash App me the money, Dad, or PayPal. They don't do that stuff. All right, so I'm going through during the breaks, I go through the comments. We're live right now at facebook.com/Schrock Innovations, and I'm going through everything, and lots of people are telling me the same thing, that they're saying that the Sophos installed properly on their computer, but they also have Endpoint running, or they're getting messages that Endpoint is not working properly, and Windows Defender is telling them they're not protected even though they have Sophos installed. So here's what's happening, guys. You have 2 antivirus products installed, and one of them is not working properly. So Windows is going to take the safe path and warn you that your Symantec endpoint is not working properly. Now, why is it not working properly? Because we're canceling your service because you've migrated to Sophos. So it's that easy. I mean, that's what's happening. Now, once you know that you have Sophos installed, once you have seen that blue pencil tip with the white letter S down there in your system tray, those are the icons just to the left of your clock. Expand them if you don't see it there. Just check and see if it's there. If you have Secure Updater, it's probably there. So when you expand that and look, you will see Sophos, and when you see that Sophos icon, if you hover over it, it'll say Sophos. When you see the Sophos icon, then you can uninstall your endpoint, and you won't get those nasty messages anymore about Symantec is incredibly slow with their. I'll give you an example. When we first released this product, if you're going to do the migration, it's best to disable your endpoint first, which is ridiculous for me to have to say, because we control the group policy. And so in the group policy, when we first pushed this out, Endpoint was calling our download a virus because it had a low reputation score. It means it was just created, it was an executable, downloaded from the internet that was created less than 24 hours ago. Chances are it's a virus. So we're just going to call it a virus and keep you safe. That's why we love Endpoint, right? So we set our group policy to exclude our tool. So in other words, if this tool is seen, let it pass. It has now been 5 days since we made that group policy change. Previously with Endpoint on Symantec, we could push a button that said push group policy and it would send it out to everybody. We can't do that anymore. Now we just have to change the group policy and wait for it to, it's like watching coffee brew. They call that a pour over. It's like watching a pour over brew at a coffee bar. Drip, drip, drip. And you're just waiting. And people, every day, more people get the group policy update, and every day more people call us and say that, hey, my endpoint is deleting this and saying it's a virus. What should I do? Well, disable your endpoint and keep going. That's what we tell them to do. So it's ridiculous, but we're going to get everybody migrated. It's going to be good to go. If you have questions about it, continue to ask them here. I'll continue to answer them during commercial breaks. All right, let's jump into those phones real quick. Balmo, welcome to the program. How can I help you on Compute This today? Are you there with me?
Hello.
Hello. How are you doing? Yeah, I'm here.
Good.
I'm here for the rest of the hour.
All right. So my question is, the bracelet you were working on for your dad.
Uh-huh.
Whatever happened to that? Yeah,
great question. We've covered this a couple times, but what ended up happening was the Allen Band was a device that we envisioned that would be a wireless communication device. This was before the Apple Watch, guys. So this was a wireless communication device that had cellular connectivity, that had Wi-Fi connectivity, that was Bluetooth compatible with a phone, that you didn't have to have a phone to use, but it would monitor all the health stuff and tell your family members if you fell down, basically. We couldn't do it because the cost to get through the FCC was what killed the project. So if you're going to make a wireless device that uses cellular radios, you have to have an FCC license. And the cost, there are companies, it's so difficult to get the license that there are companies that actually specialize in helping you get the license. And it's $600,000 to hire the company to help you get the license. That's how ridiculously hard and expensive it was. The problem that we came up against is, our user base, we're talking about selling 1,000 watches. We're not Samsung, we're not Apple, we're not going to sell 1 million watches. So we're going to sell maybe 1,000 watches, right? Well, now we're talking $600,000 plus the development cost. So we asked the question, we have two options, guys. Number one, we either need to take the cellular radio out of the watch, or two, we have to charge $700 a watch. So it's Rolex it is not. So what do you want us to do? And basically everybody was evenly split. Nobody was going to pay $700 a watch, and the majority of people said do not take out the cellular radio. The two ideas were not compatible. And so then if we're going to take out the radio anyway, everybody who was interested in the product didn't want the product. There we go. So that's why last year for the first time you saw the release of watches that have cellular radios in them. It took Apple 2 years after we envisioned the Allen band just to get through FCC to get their watch approved. So, I mean, it was literally something that I wasn't going to keep everybody hanging on the line for 5 years while we did this and stumbled through a process that cost us $600,000 to do to create a product that nobody would buy. And so that's what happened to the Allen band. Thank you for the call. I appreciate it. You know, it's a sad story. It was an innovation that was killed by government bureaucracy. So whenever you hear someone say regulations don't stop innovation, regulations don't hurt the economy, regulations don't hurt your health care, regulations don't hurt anything, that's what killed the Allen band, guys. Everything else, the factory was ready to make it, you know, because of course we had to make it in China because no one in America makes this stuff. The factory in China doesn't give a rat's rear end about the FCC. So literally, we had an internal discussion in-house, like, what if we just did it? What if we just said, yeah, regulation, schmegulation, and just did it? Ooh, yeah, that would have been a business-ending fine. What's that? Did it work? Oh, it would have worked, yeah. Oh, yeah, it worked great. But the problem was we couldn't sell it, because if we sold it and we got caught selling it, which you better believe that some competitor is going to say, you know, you don't enter the healthcare market with a product that's not approved, because you're gonna get cut down, and the fines for releasing a product that is not fully compliant with regulations would have been business-ending fines. So we just couldn't do it. We couldn't do it. 888-250-2091. All right. Apple, speaking of updates, Apple is releasing, or has released, I should say, version 14.1 for your iPhone. If you don't have it already, you definitely want to get this update. 14.1 is a fix-it update that's fixing a ton of stuff that was broken in version 14. So you definitely want to install this on your iPhone. Go for it. It's going to make your iPhone experience so much better. This is 14.1. Previous updates were 14.01 and 14.02. Both of those updates solved some problems and caused additional problems. The only problem that remains after 14.1 that I have seen is there is a substantial battery drain on your Apple Watch that basically you can fix by wiping your iPhone. No joke. That fixes it. That's the fix from Apple. Wipe your iPhone and reinstall everything. If you don't want to do that, wait for 14.2, but you'll have to live with a battery that drains extremely rapidly on your Apple Watch, which is a problem that already exists now, so you're not losing anything by going to 14.1. 888-250-2091. Got to take a quick break. When we come back, Google antitrust and competition. This was a big news story this week that the Department of Justice is going to file anti-competitive charges against Google's divisions for specifically probably their advertising division, because they're going to go after the money. And Google stock really didn't respond at all to that. It was kind of baked in already, I think. And everybody remembers how this went with Microsoft, right? So we're going to tell you what's going on, what you should know about it, and if there is actually, you know, is now the time in the age of big tech censorship, is it time to start looking for alternatives to Twitter? Alternatives to Facebook, alternatives to Google, so that you don't have all of your information with one giant technology monopoly. We're going to tell you all about the options coming up next on Compute This.
Update all of your third-party apps on your computer with Secure Updater. It keeps all your apps running smoothly and helps block viruses. Download it for free today at secureupdater.com. Every person listening to this broadcast has either experienced data loss or knows someone who has. When you think about it, you have a lot more data stored in many more places than you'd like to admit. Have you downloaded those videos from your phone, backed up the pictures on your iPad, or even tackled that sometimes daunting task of backing up your entire computer's hard drive? Most people just don't back up their stuff, and that's why Schrock Innovations has one of the most advanced data recovery centers in the Midwest. Equipped with the latest DDI data imaging devices, state-of-the-art custom recovery software, and Omaha's best data recovery technicians, Schrock Innovations has a 96.8% success rate when recovering data from damaged hard drives, flash drives, camera cards, and more. We all know we should back up our data, but if you are ever caught in a data loss nightmare, call the experts at Schrock Innovations to get your data back right where it belongs, safe and backed up on a stable hard drive. Compute This Pro Tip 578. Technology is constantly changing, so how can you tell when the time has come to recycle your old outdated computer and invest in a new one? Experts have rules of thumb and formulas, but Schrock believes the answer is simple. You should replace your old computer when it can no longer do the things you need in a secure way. For example, you should not be using operating systems like Windows XP or Vista because they're no longer maintained by Microsoft and they're not secure. And if your computer cannot run Windows 10, it's probably time to begin saving for a replacement. If your existing computer requires a repair and that cost is 50% or more of the cost of a new computer, it might be time to consider a replacement. But keep in mind, additional costs like data transfers and important software you have to upgrade like genealogy software or Quicken. And also keep in mind that modern computers are engineered to last 18 months for a normal user. And don't worry, you are considered a normal user. Schrock modular PCs and solid-state laptops are specifically designed to last 4 to 6 years for that same normal user, saving your family money and time. This pro tip brought to you by Schrock Innovations Computer Company.
Alrighty, folks, welcome back into Compute This. My name's Thor Schrock. I'm the owner of the Schrock Innovations Computer Company. Don had a great question on Facebook. He said, my computer is not running version 20H2. So, do I need to do anything about that? Well, here's the answer. Basically, Microsoft doesn't push out. That's why I said this update is different, because when Microsoft does decide it's time for your computer to get it, you will get it like that, like restart the computer fast, because you already have it. It's just turned off in your system. And so Microsoft, when they download these updates to you, they only download the components of the update they believe your computer needs to successfully upgrade. Not more, not less. When we install the update, you'll notice the download takes a while. And the reason it takes a while is we are giving you the full and complete update, because all of the extra if, then, what if, oh gosh, this broke, all that stuff is in that big update. And so when you run that on your computer, that big update is more successful than the smaller update. It's one of the little bench tech tricks that we use to deploy this and have it deploy nicely for customers without issues. So anyway, long and the short of it is, if your computer is not running 20H2, it's not a sign of anything bad happening. It just means Microsoft has not yet deemed you appropriately sufficiently ready yet to receive their update for a variety of reasons, including they can't send it to everybody on the planet at the same time. You will get it. If you don't get it, it does mean something is not right with the computer. If you purchase Safe Upgrade, you should run your Safe Upgrade software, and then you'll have version 20H2. If you did not purchase Safe Upgrade, you could download it. You can download it, create a Windows media creation tool, and then install it on your computer, and then create the media packet. This is all the stuff that we do to install it. You can do all that at home yourself, but Safe Upgrade does it for $55, and we do it on the bench in the service center for $85. It's $30 more. So it's not even a full hour of labor, because the process is so regimented that we're able to automate it. And so we don't even charge you the full hour of labor to do it. So it's just definitely something to check out. Come on into the service center if you want to have that done. We're open Saturday from 10 until 8, Sunday from noon to 5. Also, of course, Monday through Friday from 10 in the morning till 8 in the evening as well. 888-250-2091. I feel like Secure Updater has gotten a lot of attention over the last couple weeks. I've talked a lot about Secure Updater being a security essential for your computer. Updating, downloading patches, installing security, things like that. There was a lot of internal debate inside Schrock whether we should use Secure Updater to push the migration. So first of all, nobody had the Sophos migration tool installed on their computer, so we weren't patching a program that was already installed on your computer. We were using Secure Updater as an installation vector to run a program on your computer. And while Secure Updater technically has the capability to do that, it was not the original intent of the software when everybody signed up, right? When you signed up with us, you didn't say, hey, Thor, I want you to run a program on my computer anytime you feel like it. Now, on the other hand, we have a situation where this is your internet security we're talking about. If you paid us a lot of money to keep you safe, and if we screw up and don't keep you safe, we're not doing our job, number one. Number two, we took your money, we're not giving you service, and that's not something that Schrock does. Number three, you're counting on us, and we're not going to let you down. So given that stuff, I made the call that we're going to use Secure Updater to push this through. So then a lot of people realize their Secure Updater for one reason or another. It's one of those programs, it's silent and it's automatic, so you forget about it, right? You're like, I don't want a Secure Updater. I bought it. Next year it's $25 to renew it. Okay, whatever. They realized their Secure Updater wasn't logged in on their computer for some reason. Maybe they got a new computer and they didn't move their Secure Updater over. or they didn't get one from us. Some people buy computers elsewhere, it happens. Or maybe there was a glitch. Maybe they changed their password because they have 3 computers and they couldn't remember the password, so they changed it, not realizing that makes the other 2 computers not log in anymore. And so they saw that black Secure Updater icon down there in the system tray. So we coached a lot of people through getting that logged in and working. So Secure Updater is more than just a security patching and updating tool. It has the capability to allow us to deliver service. Now, Secure Updater did not do anything to your computer if you did not have our Symantec endpoint. It did not install Sophos. It did not uninstall your existing security product that you chose to have on the computer. So this was a situation where only Schrock customers who are also running Symantec endpoint received the Sophos migration tool to make changes to their computer. That's it. Nobody else did. So that's one of the we said we're not going to, obviously we have customers, other computer repair shops use Secure Updater. They sell it to their customers. We don't want to upgrade their computers to Sophos or take their endpoint clients from them. So you had to be an endpoint. You had to have endpoint. You had to be a Schrock endpoint customer with a valid subscription who also had Secure Updater. And as you go down the line, we have these things called perfect customers. These are customers that are doing everything exactly right with their computers. They've got endpoint for antivirus, now Sophos. They've got Secure Updater. They've got Drive Advisor. They're getting 2 maintenance checkups a year, one every 6 months to make sure everything is running good and so we can check that hardware out. And they're doing Safe Upgrade twice a year. That's a perfect customer. There's literally, when those people come into the store with a problem, my guys are like, you don't need anything. Like, you're perfect. You need nothing. You're doing a great job. So those customers, their migrations were like butter. And then we had everybody else that was somewhere in the middle. Maybe they have endpoint, but they didn't have Secure Updater. Or maybe they had Secure Updater, but they chose to go with AVG and they were using Secure Updater to kind of, plug some holes to try to make it a little safer. So we can, there was a lot going on there. So I wanted to make sure I mentioned the fact that when we make software for you guys, it is more than a monetary relationship. So you're paying us to put security software on your computer. We actually monitor your security, guys. That's why we charge more than the 5 Norton LifeLock gives you 5 licenses for 5 computers for the low price of whatever. And ours is a per computer charge. And the reason for that is we actually pay attention. We actually monitor what's going on with your computer. We actually troubleshoot you. We have a virus-free guarantee. If you think you have a virus, you can call us and we will check it for you and make sure that you're safe and give you that peace of mind. And so that's one of the things that if you have Symantec endpoint, you're moving to Sophos. If you have Sophos, you really need to have Secure Updater, guys. It's more than just a patch install program. It's a service delivery product that allows us to do things with your computer that are just phenomenally amazing, that don't interfere with your life. We don't collect any information about you or look at what you're doing with your computer. That's none of our business, and honestly, we don't care. We don't even look through the hard drives of abandoned laptops in our service center. If you have, don't pick up your MacBook after we fix it. We don't really care what's on your hard drive. We're going to zero it because we're not going to let the information get out of our shop, because that's what we do. We all have our views on things, but, we're hired to be secure computing professionals, and that's what we're going to do first. So anyway, I wanted to take that moment to let everybody know that Secure Updater is a cornerstone product with Schrock Innovations. It's one of the ones that every Schrock customer should have on their computer. That's why when you come in for anything, we put a 15-day free trial of it on your computer to get you up to date and current on everything, and then give you the choice to renew it if you want to or not. I would recommend strongly that you take a look at Secure Updater. You can get a free 15-day trial yourself at home at secureupdater.com. If you're not in the mood for downloading free trials or paying for anything, you can always check out our Drive Advisor product. Drive Advisor is like the red-headed stepchild of the Schrock family. It gets installed on every computer we touch because it tests your hard drive, and it monitors your hard drive, and it tells you if your hard drive is going bad before it actually dies in many cases. But it doesn't generate any revenue for Schrock. It doesn't really do much for Schrock at all. It does most of its stuff for you. It's kind of almost like we said, wow, wouldn't it be great if there was a product that we could put out there that would actually tell people if their hard drives were dying before they died? What do you think people would pay for that? Probably nothing. Well, let's make it anyway. No, actually, the reason that we created Drive Advisor, which you can also get at driveadvisor.com, advise ER, because it's made in America, driveadvisor.com, we made it because we have a problem. When customers come into the service center, we test their hard drives. We test them 2 ways. We test a surface test, and we do a smart test. The surface test can come back perfectly clean, but the smart test is the history of everything that's happened to the drive. And we can look at it back in history, back at the log of errors, and see this drive is sick. It may have worked this time in the bench for us. It may have worked perfectly, but it doesn't always work perfectly. And we want a hard drive to always work perfectly, right? So we tell you your hard drive's bad. And you say, I want a second opinion. So you take it to Joe Blow's Computer Repair somewhere else, and he tells you, those guys at Schrock are trying to scam you. Your hard drive is fine. Looky here. See, I did a surface test, and it came back clean. You got nothing, no problems, nothing to worry about. Then we get a bad review saying Schrock tried to scam us, or we get a customer calling back, why are you trying to scam me? And from that point, now we're playing defense. And it's like, we're not scamming you, first of all. Secondly, if you'd like to come in again, I'll show you the test that we run. You can look at the results with me. I ain't coming in there. Well, we have to have the computer here to run that. I ain't going to do that. We needed something that we could run on your computer remotely over the Schrock desk that would show you your hard drive's health status is bad. That's DriveAdvisor. Solved the service problem for us. So now we have third-party evidence, although it's not technically third-party, but it's an independent program that you can run on a computer that will tell you your hard drive is bad, and then when you switch hard drives, it'll tell you your hard drive is good. So you can definitively know if it's good or bad. All right, so last thing, Google antitrust and competitors. If you haven't heard of DuckDuckGo, you can go there. It's duck.com is an easy way to get there. But it's a search engine that works a lot like Google, except they don't track anything that you do. The results are pretty close to what Google gives, and they have all the same functionality, mapping, directions, stuff like that. They are not Google. They are not a multi-billion-dollar company, so their results don't have that multi-billion-dollar polish to them. But you're going to look at, if you accidentally use duck.com for a week, you would think it was Google. It looks that close. So give it a try this week. Try duck.com instead of Google and see if you notice the difference. I think you might actually enjoy using it more. And I don't think you're going to notice, at least in this one product, this is one product where competitors can actually do a little bit better than Google. Got to draw our winner here, $25 Schrock Innovations gift certificate. Paulson, congratulations, you're the winner, and we'll talk to you all next Sunday.
Fueled by Hy-Vee, home of hot deals and hundreds of price declines. This is News Radio 1110 KFAB, Omaha, an iHeart radio station.